is like a mystery to me. The sky is falling and I'm wondering why. So many days and nights have passed me by without you standing here. There's nothing left for me to see. Forever comes and forever goes, but where it stops I'll never know. Stay a little while, there's nowhere we have to be. Cause I don't need to know right now. There's no one left beside me anyhow. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me. Oh yeah. Sometimes I wish that I could fly away. When the night is cold and I don't want to stay, I need to understand. The mystery is clear. So stay a while and hold out your hand. I do believe, I believe that soon I'll understand the way you're moving me. There's nothing left for me to fear. Forever comes and forever goes, but where it stops I'll never know, never know. But stay a little while, there's nowhere we have to be. Cause I don't need to know right now. There's no one left beside me anyhow. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me. There's no one, no one. Oh, 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 yeah. I don't know how you move me so. I don't know why I need to know, but what I'm feeling now is like a mystery to me. Stay a little while, there's no one meant for you but me.
Good morning. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild, and I am Debbie G. You know what time it is. It's time for a Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And today I have a dynamic co-squirt, and you're going to need a pen and a piece of paper because we're going to be playing I called them word games, but that's not exactly what it's called. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the screen Clint. And I didn't ask him, is it Baguette or Baggett?
It's Baggett.
Baggett. Okay, I wasn't
Yep.
sure. I wasn't sure if you were like the bread, the baguette.
Kind of,
It's a
right?
baguette.
I did research on it. It came from Ireland and the England area, and it was Bagot, I think, back in the day. So it's kind of Baguette, however you say it, Baguette. It's fine, whatever's
Uh,
comfortable.
well, good, good. And we'll just, I could make up a name for you, so be careful because whatever's comfortable, just, you know. Welcome everybody. It is time for a cup of grata, and we're going to have a blast today. Get a pen and a piece of paper. We are here with a wonderful USAF veteran. And through the past 20 years, he's overcome many things, including being homeless. I feel you there. Losing close family before their time. Got you on that one. Addiction. God, double down, dude. No wonder I love you. Depression. Yep, yep. And you now believe that everyone has everything that they need to live the life that they want already within them. And you're on a path of dedicating this work of helping people to recognize their potential. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. And I absolutely love what you do. I've been telling my husband, and good morning, sweetheart, I see you. I've been telling him that we this is a really exciting day today because I really like the process that you are doing. I think it's fantastic. But tell us a little bit about you really quick, and then we're going to take a dive. I'm going to hand this over to you and let you start taking the audience through an experience.
Yeah, yeah. So about me, I mean, you covered some of the highlights. I don't think that the things I've been through kind of define me, but it gives relevance to people. Yeah, I was homeless when I was 20. I had a tumultuous childhood, so to speak, right? I've been
Yeah.
through a lots of ups and downs, but what happened, in that time, I made a decision, right? And I made a decision that life could be better. If life was going to be better, I needed to figure that out, right? And that process over those 20 years led me through many journeys, lots of ups and downs. I found a lot of things that worked and I found a lot of things that didn't work. And even though I found like financial success in my 30s, right? I had a six-figure salary, I was doing really well. With the loss of some loved ones, just bad mindset management. I was severely depressed. I had PTSD post, my military experience, chronic anxiety. I was, just I was a mess. And there was a period where the doctors just kept prescribing. They're like, why won't these pills fix him? Let's give him another pill, and they were trying. They didn't know,
Camp.
right?
Oh, come
Go ahead.
on. They were trying.
I'm being nice, right?
Oh my God. No, I've got to call.
Yeah.
They were trying my ass. They were
So
being paid for every prescription they wrote.
yeah,
Are
they
you
they were
kidding?
they were doling them out.
I'm
So
so not about pharmaceuticals anymore. Let me
Yeah,
just
so
say.
well, and that was the point. I had a pill minder, right? Every day I had 2 slots, and I was trying to put all my pills. I had 14 a day that I had to take, some in the
Whew.
morning, some in the evening, and I couldn't fit the pills in the pill minder. And like I was trying to close the little lid,
Oh.
and I was like trying to get my pills to fit in there because there were so many, and like I couldn't close the lid. And in that moment of frustration, I just broke down and started crying. And I'm like,
Oh man.
why am I doing this? Like, what is and I'm looking at this 70 plus pills for a week, right, that
Oh.
I got to take, and I'm like, and I started thinking, I was like, these are all mindset related. I did have some injuries, so there was some pain medicine in there, but a lot of it was mindset. And I was like, I've got to do something to solve this, right? And so I really believe the journey started just like when I was homeless, and I said, I've got to do something. I've got to find a way. I want to find something. That's where it really began, because then as I started opening my eyes and looking for solutions, I found this app for mindfulness, right? And it was called 10% Happier. It's a wonderful app if anyone wants to check it out.
10%
The
happier, huh?
10% Happier, there's no
Okay.
music behind it. It's just soft, just reminders to focus. And they had like 5-minute mindfulness sessions. And so I was like, I can find 5 minutes in a day. My days are super busy. I'm, corporate IT, managing global operations. Like, I can find 5 minutes a day. I know I can do this. And I started. And at first it felt awkward, but within just a couple days of trying it, only 5 minutes a day, I realized like I was addicted to it, because in that 5 minutes of just breathing, I was finding relief. And I was like, it was just like the first sign of hope, right? And so I grew from there. By the end of the year, I was doing 45 minutes a day in just mindfulness, until it got to that point where I was like, okay, I'm ready for the next level. And just the way the universe works, when you make that step, I'm ready for the next level, something will come into your experience. I was driving in my truck, and I had like this montage of motivational speakers speaking, and I heard a voice say, if your mind can make you sick, well, then maybe your mind can make you better. And I was like, I almost crashed. I'm like, who was that? Like, what was that? That sounded really, it was different than the normal motivational speech. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so I tried to figure out who it was. I couldn't find it. The next day, we went to my psychiatrist, who was wonderful, by the way. When I met him, I told him, I go, I want off all of these. Lead me
Right,
down
right.
that path, right? And he did. He helped me with that. So the next day, I'm talking to him, and I was like, I think maybe I need to get into like guided meditations. I need to go beyond mindfulness, something more. And he writes on a sticky note and hands it to me. He says, look this up on YouTube. And it says, Joe Dispenza interview with Tom Bilyeu. And I go look it up, and that is where the clip I heard was from. So I
Okay.
just grabbed some Joe Dispenza CDs. But anyways, not to get off on too much of that, but
Well,
but like,
Joe Dispenza, it sounds like he was just a little bird in your ear, Joe, just going, "Hey, yo,
yeah,
if it's
yeah,
made you sick, it could be." Oh, I love you had so you had this epiphany, this aha
mhm.
moment. I'm totally digging that. First off, nobody, if you're watching and you don't know who Joe Dispenza is, well, Joe Dispenza is a really dynamic. Guess what is he? Motivational speaker, kind
He's
of.
a teacher, scientist, researcher. So he goes and does a lot of research on people, on the anatomy of people while they meditate, and the medical benefits, the biological uh, benefits and transition that can go through while you're in the states of meditation. So for me, it was a crash course in what happens when you're thinking clearer, when you're taking that time to meditate, and when you're in that better
Right.
state of mind, which ultimately led me to where I am when, I've kind of discovered the word games, right? And you can call it whatever you want, it doesn't matter, but I call it grid
I
work, right?
he calls it grid work. I call it
Mhm.
word games. But actually, I think grid work is more appropriate. I want to step in for a second because
Sure, sure, go ahead.
I really resonate with a lot of the things that you've been through. And I say without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark. Period. Tell me
100%.
about and like I want to know about your appreciation factors that came into play here because when I was experiencing nowhere to go and I didn't know what I was going to do, I was okay with my life where it sat and it was pushing me into that, Clint. It was like finding a speck of light. And actually, there's no finding. Let me rephrase that. It's choosing to see a speck of light. It's choosing to see a speck of light. We don't find diddly squat. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Megan, Michael, I love you. Um, it's just choosing to see it. And I remember doing that. But it really required a deep level of grateful beingness. When you've lost it all, you gain everything.
Yeah,
Period. Period.
yeah,
And I know you understand this. Talk to me about that with you, with that experience with you. And then we're going to get into the word game, his grid, the word
yeah,
game
yeah.
grid, the fun stuff. Get your pen and paper. Get your pen and paper right now, everybody. Go do it.
It
Do
is
it. Do
gonna
it.
be fun. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah. No, so that journey, right? It's dynamic, and this is one thing that when I'm talking and teaching to people, start wherever you're at, right? And almost everything, the pattern that I see, it always starts with that choice you're talking about. I want something better. I need to see something better, and you start where you are. And there was growing levels of, I didn't go from 14 pills a day to no pills a day in 2 weeks. That
I can't
process was
imagine.
five
No,
years,
that
right?
we.
And
Oh
so
wow. Okay. Uh huh.
yeah, as I would spend more time getting to know myself and understand gratitude and understand appreciate, and there was a lot of letting go. I had to let go of a lot of identities. I had to let go of a lot of thoughts and beliefs and things that were holding me back and that were kind of keeping this tension. I had to forgive myself for my past, and I had to
Mm.
forgive myself for my future, right? And go through all of these emotional
Yeah.
processes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And in what was amazing is in each process, as I would make this kind of cognitive emotional development, another pill would just fall away, right? I'd be like, I don't think I need this one anymore. I don't feel like I need it. And I would just keep diving and digging and digging and digging and going through and just letting things fall away. I'll be honest, today, is that journey even done for me? No, it's not. I'm still, letting things go. I'm so much further, and I'm so much happy in a happier, stable, consistent state than where I was back then. But there's always growth. And honestly, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that there is enough growth and enough things for me to learn from and develop from through the rest of my life that I can do this for the rest of my life because it's rewarding and it feels fantastic.
You're a rock star, pure and
Thank you.
simple. I love it. You know what? No, really, you just. I'm really excited. I'm really excited because I love to learn, and I'm going to tell you, there is never being done. There is never
Right,
being done. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. And when you are done, you won't be breathing. So don't trip on that.
right.
You know. Oh, and
Totally.
newsflash, world, you're going to die. Ah! Oh my God! So
That
why not? So why the hell not start? Why not start living now? Why don't you just decide today that you're going to take back a hold of your brain? See, this is what I discovered myself was we have control of our brain. Oh,
Yep,
what?
yep,
We tell our brain what's up. Our brain doesn't tell us what's up. And living in a state of numbness, we don't know that we have control of our brain, and then we just become this habitual robot. Forget waiting for the AIs to come out. Forget waiting for the actual bots to come out. We're
yep,
already that. We are the most advanced form of AI as it is. Oh,
100%. Yeah,
totally
yeah.
right. Yeah, download. Psh,
And we're a
mm,
processor, right? So, there's a life
totally.
force generating in us, and it's seeing these experiences, and it's flowing through this mechanism of our mind, which collects all this information, and it compiles this information. But then and this is where I think a lot of us, when we think, sometimes I think awareness is as simple as realizing this. We don't know that we're asking questions and making decisions, and we don't know that we're shaping things, right? We're not always aware of that. And it's, to me, as I became aware of that, that's what felt like awakening and awareness, when I was just like, wow, I'm doing this to myself. And if I'm going to change, like I can't blame anybody else anymore. I can't go, it's his fault, or it's because the sun came up too early, or my alarm didn't go off. It's none of those reasons. It's me. I'm in control of this now moment, and this now moment, my past is a collection of now moments, my future will be a collection of now moments, and what I do in this now moment will shape who I am and what I've become. And it's a lot of responsibility to take onto yourself, because then you have to forgive yourself for all the times you didn't know, right? Because you look back and you go, wow, I could have did that better. But that's the miracle. That's when you look back and you go, God, I could have did that better. That's the
Hmm.
change. That's that moment where you've just elevated, because you'll never do it again. And you have to build that confidence and that trust in yourself that you're going to go forward with this, and live the life that you were meant to live.
That's beautiful, and there's so many nuggets in there. I mean, just it was extraordinary. My favorite one is about you taking self-responsibility. Our process of self-actualization, self-realization is that it's that self-responsibility with compassion. You know, we talk about being an empathetic person, but empathy is first done with ourselves to step into our own. So I'll be the observer of this human that's here having this experience. And I love what you were talking about because that is truly, truly powerful. So, one of the things that I loved about what you do is what I love is that you use words and you help to tune in to what the emotion is. And communication is like my gig. Like that's
Yeah,
my thing. I love anything to do with words. And
me
I
too.
love how
Me
that
too.
anything to express ourselves. And so right now what I'm really excited about is we're going to play a game with you and I'm going to let you take over. But everybody have a pen and piece of paper whether you're watching now or on the replay. Most people do watch on the replay. So thank you for doing so. Please share this out if you are watching right now or on the replay, either one. And good morning to Leland. I just want to bring this up really quickly. And aim at compassion for self is what makes compassion for others possible. Boo, booyah, dear, booyah. Mm, mm, mm. As a Jedi on light and love. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. And thank you, Leland. Believe me, I am having a blast and we're about to have a blast. Leland, get your pen and paper for because no matter where you are, no matter where you are in life, every day is an opportunity to see something new. And that's what we're getting ready to do. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Clint is a poet. I don't know why you remind me of like he has this Jim Morrison vibe. You guys feel it like this this poetic there's this poetic energy that you have about you and I just that's how I related it. So I relate
No,
everything to rock and roll.
I'll
Cheers
take it.
to
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
coffee.
you.
All right, so take it over, my friend.
Okay, so what I'll do here in a minute then is I'll share my screen, and I'm actually going to do the process with you guys. I've got a camera set up so you can watch as I write things out, but I want to talk to you a little bit about it first, right? So what are we doing? So the idea is we're going to build a little grid of words, right? And as we go through and discover the words that are going to be in our grid, because it's going to be personal to us, and you can follow along and use the words I use, or you if you want to come up with your own, however is fine. What's when you take this and you start practicing it, what will be important is what the word means to you. So like the word hope, there's some words like hope. Hope for some people is a really good and powerful word, and it has a lot of positive emotion. If you can think about the word hope and you feel really good, hope's a good word for you. If hope feels like reaching for something you don't have and it's kind of like, oh, I hope you know what I mean? If it has that, just leave hope alone for a while. You'll come back to it, and you'll one day be able to bring that in, right? And so find words, always use words that feel good for you, right? So if you're in a good feeling place, this can be really easy to do. And if you're in a really good feeling place, this process will help you understand, recognize who you are, and stabilize your alignment with a good feeling place. If you're not in a good feeling place, then there's a real easy technique called pivoting, right? And it's to pivot from a negative emotion to a positive emotion. And there's what I found the principle that helps me do this the most is I believe that all negative emotion is an ask for something. When we're angry, it's because we wanted success or we wanted kindness or we wanted something. So all of those things that we wanted are good feeling emotions, right? So if we can focus on those, it is the answer to our ask. So it is the salve to our negative emotion, right? So if you're sadness, if you have feel sad, you want to be happy. If you're a feel alone, you want to be together, right? So you can move and choose that word that is the answer for your ask, right? And then the idea is we're going to write a word down and then we're going to think on that word for just a moment. So if let's say we write down the word happy, what does happy mean to you? Right? If you're feeling sad and happy is your ask, then just sit there and go, well, what does happy mean to me? And think about times in your past when you were happy, or imagine ways that you could be happy. But what you want to do is start giving your mind that kind of imagery of what happiness is. You're telling your brain, when I think of happiness, this is what I think. And as we go through these emotions and we tell our brain what we want to think and we think about it, it is going to start to believe that it is living in the moment where those things happen. And when your brain believes that it is living in that moment, it releases all of the endorphins and biochemicals and stuff that produce health and happiness. And what will occur is you will feel in your body the sensation and the emotion of that thought that you were thinking. And the more you practice this, the more you'll do it. If you're a law of attraction student, right, you'll understand you're going to move your point of attraction. You're going to raise your vibration. You're going to feel better. And when you're feeling better, when you're thinking better, what happens is your thoughts are clear and they line up with the emotions that you chose to feel, right? So with that, I'll kind of switch over to my camera and we'll walk through it.
All right. Woo! So everybody, get your pen and paper ready. Let's roll. And go ahead and bring it up.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Excuse me. Okay. So what I've done here is just draw a couple lines to make a framework for the grid, right? You can do, one, two, three words by three. You can do four. You can do this as big or as little as you want. It doesn't matter. Normally I do 4 by 4 and I fill the spaces in between, but however you want. Start small. We're going to do 3 by 3 right now. The idea is, so we mentioned happy a couple times. We'll just start with the word happy. So let's say I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and happy is either how I feel or how I want to feel. So I write down the word happy, and then I'm just going to sit with that word and I'm going to think about happy. And, I think of things like, the day my children were born and was able to put them on my chest, right? And hold them and like how happy I felt. That was quantifiably, undeniably a happy moment. So I know there's happiness in that moment, right? And I can go to that moment and I can think about it and I can remember that moment and my brain will start to understand and recall and pull that emotion back to me, right? And so I'm dialing in and telling myself, this is who I am. This is what I want to feel. And I'll sit with that emotion for a little while, just be happy, right? And then in that place of happiness, I start to just kind of look around and I think, well, what's next? What do I want? I've got a busy day ahead of me, and I don't want to be stressed. I want to be successful. So maybe something else I might want to feel is ease. I just want ease. I want things to be easy. I like it when they work smooth. I like it when people cooperate, and I like it when there's not a challenge on things, and the things that I need to do just kind of flow smoothly for me, and they allow me to be successful, and it just comes naturally. I love ease, and I want to feel ease. So what does ease mean to me? I'm going to feel that for just a moment.
Can I jump in, ease?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead,
Easy,
please.
easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Hmm. Yes.
Seriously, I'm
Yeah.
not playing. I'm serious. Like that's what I
Yeah.
say. I say let it be easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah. Yeah,
We don't.
right, because that's what we want. We don't want life to be a struggle. There's enough struggle out there in the world. I mean, if you're feeling struggle and you're feeling stress, well, gosh, more than anything else, you want a little ease. It's nothing wrong to ask for, right? And the more of it we can have in our life, the better things flow.
Oh, I love that. Ease, such a good word. Such a good
Yeah.
word. I love that. Okay, I'll be
Yeah.
quiet.
No, please, you're perfect, right? And you can do these grids. You can actually build them with a friend. You can do them with communities. As we get the app going stuff later on, we're gonna do events where we can get people together and build community grids on topics to help us understand what do we want to feel about the things that are going on in the world. But we'll keep this personal for today, right? So happy, ease. What else might I want to feel? I like it when people are kind. I like to be kind to people, and I like people to be kind to me. So I'm going to think about times that people were kind to me, and I'm going to think about times where I was kind to people, and I'm going to love that kindness, and I'm going to let it grow inside me, and till I can just kind of feel that. Maybe breathe in kindness. Sometimes you can even do something like, is what I'll do is I'll count a word out, right? I'll say kind one, kind two, kind three, kind four, kind five, and I'll count all the way up to 20 just to give myself a rhythm. And what I'm doing is I'm telling my brain that in this moment, I am deciding that this is my focus, right? And if I have to say a word and count a number out to focus on this, I'm going to focus on this, right? And those of you that practice meditation, mindfulness, you'll find it easy to lock onto these and stick on them. But if that's not something you normally do, count it out. Just count each word out for 20 seconds, right? So, what other things might I want to find? I like to be sure of myself. I want to be sure. I want to know that I know that I know that I know that I know. I want to see that things are working out, and I want to feel good, and I want to feel confident that my decisions are decisions that come from a good place. I want to feel sure. What does sure mean to you? And ask yourself. Good questions are important. Ask yourself, not why don't I feel sure, how can I feel sure, but ask yourself, what does sure feel like? And sit quietly with yourself, and you will answer yourself. Your brain will respond to that because it is there to provide information. And if you ask it a question, it's going to tell you this is what sure feels like, and it's going to lead you to that path. But maybe as you're starting to move toward it, you feel something's blocking. You're like, well, I can't feel really sure. I've got bills to pay. I've got troubles to deal with. I'm just, there's so many problems. Well, you know what? All of those negative emotions, they're an ask for maybe security. So maybe something else I want to find is I want to feel secure, right? And you're not going to solve the world in in 5 seconds, right? You're not going to change everything, but you can line up with how the solution feels before the solution occurs, and you will draw the solution to you and be ready for it when it comes. So, you know what? If I'm going to live a secure life, if I've made a decision that I want to be financially secure, I'm going to start practicing secure right now, and I'm going to practice it every day, and I'm going to learn what secure feels like, so that when security happens, it's not new and something I got to figure out. It's something I've been doing already for a long time before it ever got to me, right? So I'm going to feel secure. And when I first started doing this, one thing that I do, right, emotions were, I was your typical guy, right? I was not going to talk about my emotions, was not going to admit that I was having any. So, I had a lot of emotional exploration to
Mm.
do. Go ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, the admitting of the emotion. Well, when and actually this really isn't gender qualified because I didn't know what emotions. Honestly, I didn't know what I was feeling either. I didn't understand when somebody said needs to me. I'm like, what? Well, I need my hair cut. What's up? You know what I mean? There there wasn't a distinction because we really hadn't been taught this. We weren't taught to tap into our emotions as children. So this is a really great, I mean, this is something you can play with your kids at home. This is
I do.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm really loving it. And I want to pay attention to sure and secure, because what came up for me is the sacred yes. Are you saying yes when you mean yes? Or are you saying yes when you actually mean no? Because sure and secure can only happen for me if I am saying yes and I actually mean yes. If I'm
Yeah.
not, then I have to question that and say, is that really a no? Why am I doing that? So the question, the curiosity with ourselves is the key. And I love how that you're asking people to step into the word and see what it feels like and resonates within them. And I want to thank Selena and Melissa for your comments. We do see them. We will definitely address them when we're done. I'm going to hand it back to Clint because I don't want to interrupt our fun game here.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much. Yeah, so now let's say you're having trouble kind of like, I don't know what I want to feel. Like this good feeling stuff's crazy. I don't know what's up. But anyways, so we go through this. What I started to do is I would write down just like I have done here, right? And then I would go, well, what if I was feeling ease and I was feeling sure at the same time? Because they would connect in my grid. What if I felt ease? So I already figured out what ease felt like a few minutes ago, and I already figured out what sure felt like ago, and I know what those words mean to me. But what would my experience be if I was feeling both of them at the same time? If I was feeling like things were coming easily, and I was sure of myself, what would that feel like to me? That man, that might feel like freedom. So I would write a word like freedom. I would feel like I was freedom. That's what freedom feels like. Freedom to me must be being sure of myself and things moving easily, things moving in harmony. I like that. And what if I was feeling freedom and kindness? Man, if I felt free to be kind and people were kindly being free to me, and there was no distrust, there was no disharmony, maybe trust is it. I would feel like I could trust. I would be free to trust in the kindness of myself and the kindness of others. So that's what I would feel. And what if I was feeling freedom and secure? If I felt free and secure, man, I'd feel safe. I'd feel like everything was okay. I would feel good. I would feel happy. So, you know what? I like safe because I like feeling safe. Safe is good. So I feel safe. Yeah.
Safe is a brilliant word. You've brought up two very, very key things here. We have the word trust and we have the word safe,
Hmm.
both of which we usually seek. No, if you haven't done your work, let me just be straight out there. If you haven't done your work, you're seeking safety in others and trust in others rather than trust in yourself and safety within yourself, trusting that you can make your own decisions. And I love how that you're gritting this together, because once we can step into trust of ourselves and know that we are safe within ourselves, then we're able to really others gravitate towards us. There's no question of, do you trust me? No,
Yeah,
we don't ask each other that, because do you trust yourself is really the key component here.
it is.
Seriously.
It
Yeah.
is, right? And another thing too, Albert Einstein talked about you can't create a solution with the same level of thinking that created the problem, right? So if the vibration and the thought we have is distrust, it's going to be very hard to know what trust feels like, to know what trust is, or to even recognize when it happens. People talk about synchronicities, and I love them. They happen. They're beautiful and wonderful. And I think that a good part of what synchronicity is I don't think they started appearing when things got better for you. I think you started realizing them. I think you started noticing them is what happens. And when you get in that place of trust and you get in that vibration of trust, what happens is you'll get a sense about it and you'll start to go, ooh, that feels like trust to me. When I'm having
Hmm.
that conversation felt like trust. So that's trust and it reinforces that feeling, right? And you become aware of,
Ooh, that
well,
was
maybe
good.
that conversation didn't feel like trust. You know what? I'm going to stop having that conversation because it didn't feel good and it didn't feel like it was in the direction of my grid. And my grid feels good because I sit every morning and I practice this grid and I know how good this grid feels. So I can recognize when events are occurring in my life if they match this grid or not. And if they match match this grid, then I know that's something I want to move toward. It's something I want to pay more attention to. And if it doesn't match this grid, I'm not going to fight it or change it. It's been there, it's been for a long time, but I don't have to give it any more power. I don't have to give it any more attention or any more life. I love me and I am my grid, and this is my grid, and I'm going to give power and love and life to the things that show up in my grid every day.
Sweet. I love me, and this is my grid, and I'm going to take the power back of my own life. I hope everybody is resonating with that. That is strong and it's powerful. And here's the enormously great part. And then we're going to get to this last word here, promise. But what I'm really excited about is how that when you write something down and you take the action, what you're
Hmm.
doing is you're remapping the neural pathways in your brain.
Yep.
Scientifically, you're remapping them. That's why writing things down, because you have the connection from your brain out through your hand. It embeds into your memory and it starts creating that new pathway. And it's really, really awesome. Like that's what the practice is about. Before we get to the last word, and everybody just hang on because you know it's coming. What what does doing your work mean to you?
What does doing it mean to me? I love that question because, when I started thinking, I went through trying to understand what manifestation was and that process. And what hit me is and this is where grid work came from, because when I started thinking about manifesting, I really wasn't worried about like a new car or all these things. I just wanted to feel better. And I realized that, like, you know, I would think of these events and I would think that these events, would, if the feeling after them is what you're supposed to focus on. And I thought, well, to feel it one time and forget it, that's the idea, right? They're like, look, feel it one time, project it, and then don't think about it anymore. And that works. I've seen it work, right? But I'm like, but I want the feeling. And so then I realized I didn't care about the thing that was coming. How do I get the feeling every day? So the work for me was to start experiencing and living and becoming this, right? So that I'm an open channel for the things that match this feeling, which will be all the manifestations I want anyways, right? I know the universe will bring to me what I want, whether I'm specific about it or not, right? By doing the work. So to me, the work is the calibration, it's the alignment, it's finding this place and it's staying secure and building up stability. I've watched myself, I used to wake up every morning and I was angry. And as I did grid work, I used to wake up every morning and maybe I was just frustrated. And I used to wake up every morning and I was bored. I woke up every morning and sometimes I was satisfied. Now I wake up every morning and I'm content, and I wake up every morning now and I have positive expectations, and it just continues to grow because I'm changing my resonant total vibration, the way that I think about things, and all the things in my experience are starting to line up as I focus myself and I rewire my brain and I practice this and I decide what I want to become. I am becoming these things. It is a target, it's a guideline, it's a calibration tool, or like a compass for me.
That was absolutely extraordinary. And what I'm loving is that you're saying when you get up in the morning, very first thing you do is set your mindset, is set that that set point for yourself, the resonance for yourself. And I have to agree with you. When you wake up in the morning and you say, I am just appreciating life and I'm grateful to be here, or today is just it's an awesome day. Why? Because it is. And then our brain will put into action searching out those things that make it an awesome day. Try it. It works. What
It
I'm
will.
what I love is that you have an actual tool that's tangible. You can sit down and create this grid for yourself and use it. And Selena, you are a rock star, girl. You've got this down like nobody's business.
I, I
Seriously. I
I
just
saw
got
the
to
comment.
say.
I saw the comment from Selena. She said it's all in the vortex already. And Selena, that's such a good point. And even to reinforce that, what I'm
Mm.
doing is getting myself out of my head and into my vortex, right? Like, because all of these things are
Oh
there for
yeah.
me. So I'm moving myself out of that thinking brain and into that. I'm getting on that high flying disc, right? So that I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
I can live that day, because that's where I want to be. I want to spend most days, and some days this I mean, every day this gets me closer, and that's all okay too. Sometimes if you don't bliss out doing this, but you just feel a little closer, good progress. Just love it and just just go through your day, get up and do it again the next day, and it will get better and better as we practice things, right? I always say this, it's like I think that, to me, we get away from competition, we get away from judgment, we get away from win, lose, all this kind of stuff. Practice is what creates things. You practice ideas, you practice thoughts, these build beliefs. Your beliefs shape reality, right? So you have to start with the practice. What are you practicing? We're all practicing something from the time we wake up to the time we go to bed. We can choose what we practice, and this is how I make that decision. This
Woo!
is what I want to practice.
This is practice is it right there. There's I I would love to wake up and see that, you know, I worked out yesterday and something, today I'm cut. No.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to
yeah. It'd be nice.
be nice, but that's not how it works, in our life, if we work our life, if we practice like we're training our body, we're training well, what about if we're training ourselves to ride a bike? You're training yourselves to ride a car. You guys know that you had to practice and practice and practice to get that to become automatic, to get it
Yeah,
just to come in there, and that's what. So the practice is everything. And when I hear doing the work, it is that practice. It's doing your practices, which sometimes I'll be up on and sometimes I'll be down on. I have a practice that's really simple. I put on Mary Isis, and I swear I just love her. Oh my God. She's also who is our lead musician on Women Unify Women Rising. And I'm going to tell you, that's one of my practices, is to listen to that music to get into my mindset, or I Am by Sat Song, or something like that, or Sat Sang,
that's a
that song.
beautiful practice, and there's that, and that's leads to something else too. Before we finish up with this, I want to, you know, if this technique, and this is something I tell everybody, if this technique doesn't work for you, don't do it, right? Don't do this. Do what
Seriously,
works
don't.
for
Yeah,
you.
no.
Go
Absolutely.
find what works for you, and you can do many things. Find as many tools that work for you and use them. And the ones that aren't working, just let them go, or find something that does work for you. Dial this in. You want to make it a triangle, make it a triangle. You want to do 12 by 12, you want to make lists, it doesn't matter. But really, it's not the process, it is the practice. It is the practice. It is deciding that you're going to connect to something that helps you. I think that, like sometimes artists and stuff, like, if they can sit down and paint a picture and they get really in that just wonderful creative inspiration space, paint pictures. Like, you know what I mean? Do those things that bring you into that place where you feel like you are living the life that you want to live, and be there as often as you can, right? And give energy to that, love it and appreciate it, and give less energy to the things. We've all got things we've got to do. We've all got to, pay bills and all this kind of stuff. Just accept it. You know what? That's okay. All right. But I know that I can carve out time for myself to do what I want. And I have found in my personal experience that as I carve out time to love the things that love me back, there are more things that love me, and there are more things that I love. And this is growing in my life. And this is why I'm excited that the journey's never over, because love just keeps growing, and I'm all down for more love, right? The better it gets, the better it gets, and the journey's amazing.
That's great. I love that. The what you seek is seeking you, and that is really what it comes down to. I love it. I'm curious, what do you all think that the next word's going to be? Type it into the chat. What is the last word here? Type it into the chat. Find what works for you and practice it. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. We love that too. And I also, uh, you know, there there isn't there isn't anything that surprises me more than the simplicity that this really is. This work really is. Here's what I was sitting there the other day, and here what I in my thought in my head was, why aren't we just teaching each other how to do this like kindergartners? I don't even understand. I mean, like, you see a happy face, sad face, you know, mad face, disgusted face, this face, and then okay, that's I'm feeling that and I'm feeling that. I mean, literally. Like, we are not really that complicated.
Well, you know what? Yeah, the problem is we got too complicated. We complicated it. We through
Because we're
society.
bored in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're bored. We're humans. Oh, but everything's going well for myself. I think I'll muck this up just because I need something. I need some excitement.
You know,
Well,
there
now it's the way I mean, it's the way I used to be. Humans, we're hilarious.
there's a theory on that, right? I think it was the movie Crash. They talk about it. I think it was Don Cheadle says, he goes, that the idea is that sometimes we get so bored with our life that we crash into each other just to experience something different. And there is a little bit of truth to that,
Wow,
right?
yeah,
Is
that's great.
sometimes we're stuck in such a rut that we will kick a wall down or break a door open or drive through our garage or whatever it is, just so that we can have something different. And because what is what we where we get is this happens to so much of us is we believe that it is the conditions and experiences that generate the emotion. They trigger things. They do trigger emotions, and we remember them. But that's not what generate you don't have to let the events trigger it. You can
That's right.
decide it, right? And when you decide it and you start to create it before the event that occurs, you will shape the events that do occur, right? As they come to you, you will shape them.
That's
You will
right.
mold them so that they match because nothing can come into like Albert Einstein says, if we're now in the vibration of the solution, if we're in the level of thinking of the solution, problems don't match up with us anymore, right? We see solutions in everything. We start to see the world differently. We start to think about the world differently. The stress pulls away and it melts out of our life. And then we start to see opportunity and success. Anyone can be a genius. Anyone can be anything that they want to be, but
That's right.
they're going to have to believe in it in themselves, and they're going to have to be willing to let go of all the thinking. What I like about this, and what I'm so thankful for learning and finding this process and using it in my life is as I went through some very difficult concepts, my grid kept me stable, right? Because there was this time, and I feel like this is a safe space. So I'm just going to be real honest about what I seen, but I was asking myself, or asking the universe, asking the life within me. I go, what do I need to comprehend so that I can live a life that feels full and free and without stress and without worry? And as I was asking myself that question, I looked up, and over there on my wall above the window, I saw the words written radical acceptance. And they stayed there for 3 days. And I even asked my partner, I go, hey, do you see words up there? And they're like, I'm like, okay, I see them. But it was just imprinted on my mind, right? That radical acceptance. Well, radical acceptance is a big concept to digest, right? Because there's a lot in it and it goes layers and layers. And even in the beginning, I was like, there's no way I can do this. But as I explored that and I began to understand and I started to develop and this integrated my, a lot, like I let go of the fear of death. I had to let go of so much. I had to really open myself up, and my grid created a foundation for me because I realized that if only thoughts can come that match the emotions that I'm having, and these are the emotions I'm choosing to happen, then the thoughts that are coming match those emotions and I can trust them and I can trust my thought. And it built strength and confidence in me to understand who I was and to know that I was on a good path and to be in love with what was happening with me and to embrace it and be open to it. So, for me, it was that calibration that created that foundation so that everything else could develop. Is this the thing that solves all things for? No, it's never meant to be. It's just a tool to help you, just find that place in yourself. And if it works for you, use it. Please use it. Make it your own. Use
I
words
love
that
this.
are
Mhm.
important to you, right?
Well, there's some super exciting things you said. The first is radical appreciation. So I am a TIA graduate and TIA student, and that's with David Strickle. If no one's ever heard of it, it's called Trust Your Abundance. No kidding.
Mm,
And David channels the stream. In fact, I'll be on tomorrow with David, and he'll be channeling. So trusting your abundance in radical appreciation, radical acceptance. I haven't We're not on radical appreciation yet. Radical acceptance. You can't get to radical appreciation unless you have radical acceptance, by the way. But
right,
you already know this. So radical acceptance is such a big, huge container, and I love it because it means that everything is just the way it should be here in the moment and nothing needs to change. in any way, shape, or form, except maybe my perception of how I'm viewing the current moment, if it's not radical acceptance. But I also loved what you were saying about letting go of the fear of death. It really is the letting radical acceptance is letting go of fear. Are you there? Uh-oh. I think he froze. Oh no. So let me just take him down just for a second. He will be right back. We are having such a great conversation today. He just lost his internet, so he will be right back. But yeah, radical acceptance is a huge thing, and Selena, I love how that you brought this up. You have drawn and painted from the inner self, and some of the things that have shown up in them was definitely placed there by something else. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome
Sorry about
back.
that.
Yep, not a thing, not a thing. It happens. We need to give them what's our last word on the grid?
Yeah, I seen words in the chat there, love, I seen whole, and this is where the beauty of it is, it's really about you. And as you combine those words and it's feeling that energy, whatever word you're feeling right now, whatever that thing is in you, that's your word. That's the final part of the grid for you, and that's where it's most important. For me, I love the word love. I love the word whole, but I go a lot of times to just a favorite word of mine, and I use fun. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy
That's a
this
good
life.
word. That's a
I
great word.
I wanna wake up happy. I wanna play with my kids. I wanna enjoy the things that I do. I wanna laugh with people. I love hugging and just being in that joy of having fun with people. And so fun is important to me. So for me, it would be fun. But what is it for you? Because whatever it is for you, that's what's important. That's what's significant because it's personally significant to you. Find that personal significance for yourself and build your grid. It is you. It's a snapshot of your emotional portrait.
I love that. Mm. Snapshot of your emotional portrait. You guys get that? You That's just absolutely beautiful. Joy. I love that. Joy.
Joy,
That's a
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that one too, Melissa, honestly. I was like in the joy, I was in the joy thing. But did you all know that joy is gratitude's belly button? Woohoo! Just saying.
That was fun. I love that.
Well, it really think about it. It's just
Yeah.
gratitude had a belly button, it would be joy.
Yes.
Fulfillment. Fulfillment. What a good word, fulfillment. You guys are like rocking my world right now. Do you realize we get to take this and through the whole day today? Through the
Yeah.
whole day. So if anybody did the exercise, can you please let me know where are you resonating at right now? How are you vibing with this? How is this working for you? Put it into the chat because I'd really love to know.
Yeah,
I'd
and
really, really dig it.
if I may,
Mhm.
if anybody's out there and you're liking this, you're enjoying this, you're like, this seems cool. Something that I did for about 3 months when I started doing this that will help is, especially if you're kind of skeptical, but you're at that point where you're like, I need hope and I'm willing to try anything, definitely do this next step. Is what I would do is I just get, a college rule notebook, right? And I would have a book just for my grid. And so I'd date the day, I'd write my grid down, and then the next day before I would write the grid for the day, I would go back to the day before, and I would look at the words and I go, did that show up in my life? And I would think about, and what happens is, instead of remembering the bad things about my day, I was scanning my yesterday for happy. I was scanning my happy yesterday for fun. I was scanning my yesterday and I would find them, even if it was the teeniest little piece. And you know what? If I didn't find something, then I told myself, you know what? I didn't calibrate right to it because I know that if I calibrate right to it in the morning, I'll find it in the day, right? It'll happen. It'll show up in my life because I'm carrying it forward with me. I'm carrying that emotion forward and it's going to have a place to connect in something. So I would just tell myself, you know what? What does it feel like? And I would focus more on that word and build that. And I did that for about 3 months, checking the day back. And like, you don't want to get yourself into a habit of kind of keeping score, but it is a good exercise to help you understand that this is working because about after 3 months, I was so certain that whatever I felt in the morning, whatever I put in my grid, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it and more things showed up in my I quit looking back. I'm like, I don't need to check yesterday. It was good. I know it was good. I don't have to look at it. I'm just gonna build today. And like, I would build my days, right? And that's what you're
That's
doing. You're
great.
building your day, right?
I love this. You're building your day. You're doing it with intention. So that's what this whole process of your work is setting the intention, because that's what it all amounts to. And the neural pathways getting built. I mean, you can't beat that. So I want you to talk about evolving mindsets.
Yeah. Yeah, so evolving mindsets. Let's see if I can move right up. There it is, right there, over here. There's the camera. Okay, got it. So yeah, that's my company. I started that about a year ago. Honestly, when I started, I didn't know what I wanted more than this need to build community, and as because the ways that the ways that the universe provided the tools and techniques for me sometimes were so just like out of nowhere, and like how would anybody discover this? And so it was really impressed upon my heart was to start trying to see if I could help to create a space or hold a space for people to come together and find the tools that work for them. There's a lot of what happens a lot of times is you'll have a specific teacher or a specific process, and they get really regimented about it, and they go, okay, you must do this and only this, and if you deviate from this you'll never make it. That's not the way this is meant to work. We all need different tools. Some we need more than others. Some things people will adopt and use their whole life because it works for them. And that's why I say do what works for you. And the goal with evolving mindsets was to start bringing together ideas so that you can find what works for you. And so, that's what the community is about. It's about sharing what works for you. It's about sharing, you know, amazing people. Leland, I know that's on the call. Like, he came on with us and showed some of the techniques that he's doing with breath work, and like they're so incredible. And like, I would have never, I didn't have the time to learn those techniques the way he did, but now he's there in the experience and he's sharing that with everybody on how to do this. And it's super powerful and it's a tool that works. And, that's what evolving mindsets is. And it's also creating in that space where we can find what works for us is allowing our mindsets, right? So what does evolving mindsets do? What is the product? It's about delivering literally evolving or evolved mindsets, different ways to think about things. This is the coaching and teaching I do. How do we think about relationships differently? How do we think about our life differently? How do we think about addiction differently? I have went through so much addiction in my life, and and overcoming that. What is addiction? Is it a disease? Is it a crime? What is it? At the core of it, it's an ask to feel good, right? And if you can find out that healthy, safe way to feel good, an ask to feel good is not a bad thing. But what are we using to get there, right? What is that doing to us, right? So, and it's understanding, breaking down that fear, breaking down that judgment, that terror, and all of those things, and literally letting your mind evolve and knowing that you are a beautiful person inside, and it doesn't matter what you've done or what you've been through, you're still beautiful, and you can allow that beauty to grow. You can embrace it, and you will evolve in that process. So
I
that's
love
what evolving mindsets is.
And I love that, and it rocks. And the group is posted right there into the comments. You guys can join the group. And if you're just joining us, you need to go back to the beginning and watch this, because there's this incredible practice that Clint has done, and you need to go there and do it. And it's called grid work. And you'll have an intentional mindset tool to take with you throughout your day, which is really awesome. I love how you brought up addiction, because that's a big thing in our world over here with Unify and Spirituality Gone Wild. And one of the things that we one of the people I love, his name is TJ Woodward, Conscious Recovery. And he says, addiction was one of our beautiful strategies to
Feel good.
ask to feel good. Exactly. You would love TJ just for that, just for what
Yeah.
he brings forward in conscious recovery. It's an amazing program. Addiction is a thing right now that is, believe it or not, a little bit rampant. And the reason why is that people didn't have coping skills when COVID hit. They didn't know what to do.
Oh
When
yeah.
COVID hit, COVID was this big flat line for everybody. Choose depending on how that you wanted to choose to see it. I choose to see it as an opportunity to do it differently. Period.
Yeah.
And that's what Clint here today is doing, is bringing us an opportunity to do it differently. Every day you get a choice and an opportunity. How do you want to use it? How do you want to go forward? Oh my God, you don't need to make it so hard. I'm telling this to myself right now. If y'all could use that, go for it. But I'm saying it to me. You don't need to make it this hard. I mean, really, right?
That's that's me. I was a culmination of years of making things too hard. That's why ease came up early in my grid, right? Because I've that's what it's not being lazy. Look, I made everything too difficult. And so I practice ease now to balance myself out so that I
Right.
realize it doesn't have to be this hard. I can love myself into life. I don't have to fight myself into life. I can just love myself and let it be there.
Love
Yeah.
myself into life. I mean, that right there is, those are words that you could take throughout your day to day. And I hope that those of you that have just heard those words take it with you. Love yourself into life. You know, death shows us the gratitude and grief for me was realizing that I'm not living and it's time to live. When you experience somebody dying, when you hold their hand, they take their last breath, that is the most insane moment because you realize how short life really is. And let me tell you, I'm almost 55. It is it is short. Not that I'm old, but I'm getting like it's creeping on me. And I'm going, check that out. Woo! I'm in that last quarter, So it happens. You blink your eyeballs. I swear to God, it's like, oh, okay. Did I, it's bizarre how beautiful it is. Well, what I'm loving is bringing people like yourself, Clint, to the forefronts, and you're just a warrior. I appreciate you with everything I've got. And thank you, Leland. The beauty in the work is the ease and grace from which it is truly found. Absolutely. And Selena, you rock. And and Melissa, you rock. All of you are complete and total rock stars. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with Spirituality Gone Wild today. Clint, any last words?
Uh, no, just actually, yeah, I love you all. I believe in you. I don't need to know who you are. I know that it's possible wherever you are, whatever you want. You don't have to just go from bad to good. You can go from good to better. It is okay. Keep doing the work. Keep focusing yourself. Find those things that work for you. Love yourself into life. It's your right and it's your journey, and you will be satisfied when you do it.
Yep, that's the spark the G vibe moment. That is your gratitude vibration.
I love you so much.
So that's a cup of grata for you, baby, with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. I absolutely do that on purpose because it makes people think. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, and happy birthday, Leland.
Oh, that's right. It is Leland's birthday today. Thank you. Happy birthday, Leland. Seriously, happy birthday. I love Leland. He is an amazing, amazing human being on this planet. And I
Yes.
am so grateful for him. Leland, I'm grateful for you. And soon he will be coming on to Spirituality Gone Wild with Michael and Ronan, and they're going to have their own show. So it's going to be completely awesome. Make
That's
sure you
awesome.
keep your, I know, seriously. It's going to be fantastic. So, and for the rest of you, please make sure to tune in on Saturday mornings for Unify Women Rising. You can tune in to Unify. You can find me there. You can always find me on Spirituality Gone Wild. But it's really fun when you find us on Unify. We have a lot of good stuff going on the page. Just make sure you like it. Unify has done some extraordinary work, like 400 million plus meditators in one day around the world. So that's a lot of stuff.
That's
All
huge.
right.
Wow.
It's major, major, huge. So we'll see you on Saturday. And thank you again, Clint. You were amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for everybody watching, wherever you're at. If you ever need help in any way, join us, find us, connect. Don't let the moment slip you by. If you want it, go for it. It's yours.
Peace.